everybody, it's Gina from the Library Mouse, back with another book recommendation video. And I was outside working in my garden, which is a big mess, and it made me stop and think I would love to share some of my favorite non-fiction books with you that get you ready for spring and gardening. So granted, it might not appeal to a wide range of people, but when I started this YouTube channel, I made a vow that I was going to film content that I wanted to share, and that someone who enjoys the same things as me will find it. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to finish out here, and then I'm going to change and hop into the house and share some of my favorite books with you from my collection. Okay, I'm back. Okay, it wasn't just right away. It's a couple days later. And I'm back to just share some of my books that I love. I would consider them reference books. And this video is probably more of a niche video because these are books for people who love anything to do with planting, gardening, nature, natural remedies, anything like that. These are my go-to books. So the first book that I absolutely love, and it is a book, all of these books really aren't the kind of books that you would read from beginning to end. These really are books that you would pick up and use when you have a question, for the most part. So the first book that I'm sharing is The Garden Awakening. It is by Mary Reynolds. And I first became acquainted with Mary Reynolds when I watched the movie Dare to Be Wild. It is on Prime. It's a wonderful movie. It's about her life, basically. She was the youngest winner of the gold medal at the Chelsea Flower Show. And she has gone on to become an Irish garden and landscape designer. And just so many wonderful ideas for preserving our land. And kind of doing that in your own little yard. So this is Designs to Nurture Our Land and Ourselves. What I love about this book. First of all, the table of contents. This is what you'll find in this book. Restoring Wellness, a whole section on garden design, a section on the forest garden, and a section on alternative management practices for like mulching or ways to clear your land or pest control. What I love about this book, besides the information, the illustrations are beautiful. She's got detailed drawings of garden designs that you can follow, such as this. So if you're trying to plan a garden space, this book is amazing. Let me find just some of the really, really pretty illustrations and paintings. I mean, they're like artwork. They really are. So this book, besides being a great reference book, like this is Restoring Health to Your Land. She also has a great section that is just the plant, the common name for it, the height, the spread, and then any information she has about it on how to grow it. So this book, I love it. I bought mine on Amazon. It comes with a really pretty gold ribbon bookmark. But I mean, you will just be amazed at the wealth of information and just the beauty of the book. So, one of my top book. kind of along the same lines is this book by Jessie Bloom, and it is called Creating Sanctuary. So the little write-up in the back says, in this beautiful, inspiring, and hands-on practical book, we are invited to look deeply at the landscape around us and create sacred respites from our busy worlds. That's basically what this book is about. It is all about how to take your yard and create sanctuary spaces in your yard. And once again, it is filled with beautiful photographs, in this case, not illustrations, garden designs, some in-depth looks at people's sanctuary gardens that they themselves have built, how to save seeds from propagation, and then you move on to recipes. So you have, for example, mood lifter tea, moontime tea, how to make tinctures, how to make different oils like calendula infused oil, how to make bug off spray. So once again, this book is also jam-packed. And they also do a little, some sections about healing your soul. Things like doing a labyrinth walk, meditation, yoga. This is about making a sacred grove. So this book is, but it's also practical, because if you have a question about a plant, it's all in here. This is, for example, elderberry. So it has the pictures of the elderberry, the common names for it, what it's used for, how tall it grows. I mean, anything you want to know. So yes, I definitely highly recommend Creating Sanctuary by Jessie Bloom. The next few books are not as, I don't know, woo-woo. They're more practical. These books are more written like an encyclopedia. I could actually read, I could just pick a chapter and read these books. I mean, they're really interesting. The next books are really, here's the information you need to start homesteading or growing your own food or having chickens. So two of them are very similar. So the first one is called Little House in the Suburbs, Backyard Farming and Home Skills for Self-Sufficient Living. It's written by Deanna Caswell and Daisy Siskin. So it's an easy to follow advice book about doing just that, having simple living in the suburbs. Once again, highly, highly illustrated with beautiful photographs. The chapters, the one thing that I had trouble with the chapters, and granted there is an index in the back, but a lot of times the chapter titles don't tell you what the chapter's about. I grew it myself, or, but you don't understand, I kill everything. Okay. So I don't know what that is about until I start reading it. And it's all about getting your garden soil ready and composting and how to make different compost bins. She talks about how to build raised beds, starting seeds, keeping chickens, keeping goats. I always wanted a goat. I always wanted chickens. We are not allowed to have chickens in our village. Our village is a rural village. We have 2,000 people in our village, and we're not allowed to have chickens. Or you can have chickens until somebody tells on you. How to keep bees, how to make herbal oils. It's just, it is a wealth of information, very practical. I mean, even how to do cute little things like making a spa basket. So if you're into that kind of stuff, they have a spring planting chart. In the back, there's a companion planting chart. She has tons and tons of resources, and then some extras at the end, like a gardening log. A gardening log, yeah, mostly how to start a babysitting co-op. I mean, anything you can think of about having like a little homestead in your backyard, this book has it. Very easily read. I love the way she writes. Very similar to that, but not as pretty, is The Quarter Acre Farm. How I Kept the Patio, Lost the Lawn, and Fed My Family for a Year. It's written by Spring Warren. So she told her husband and sons that she wanted to do like a challenge, and that was to grow 75% of all the food they consumed in 1 year herself in their backyard. And she has a quarter acre, and there's no real illustrations in here. I mean, nothing practical or helpful, let's put it that way. Except like here, she does have a section for planting your garden. But I mean, it is very, very well written, helpful. She's another one that writes the titles so it's hard to find what you're looking for. For example, When Good Bugs Go Bad. Pole dancing. Okay, what does pole dancing mean? Let's find out what this chapter is really about. So pole dancing is growing things on poles. What did you think it was? So this is the illustration. So you have to dig. You have to actually go to the book and like look, like try to figure out where it is and where is the information that you're looking for. She does have an index to help. But I do like this because it does show you that even people who have small yards can grow a lot. And on a side note, if you're into this and you are thinking of starting your own backyard garden, or maybe you have one, but you want some creative ideas, I will try to link his Instagram below. It's Spicy Mustache. He has an urban garden in London. It's amazing. Okay, next, very, very practical book, Backyard Farming on an Acre or Less by Angela England. So this book, you can't get any clearer instructions. This is the most practical of all the books. The chapter titles, for example, Gardening on a Backyard Farm. What and how much do you want to grow? Tools and skills for the backyard farmer. One that's just about soil. Increasing crops. Vegetables to grow on an acre. All the vegetables listed. Fruits and berries. Animals for a backyard farm. And they've divided them up into chickens, rabbits, sheep, goats, beekeeping, dehydrating, smoking, canning, preserving. Anything you want to know, this book has. The photos are in black and white. I mean, they're not pretty, and they're not really super helpful, but she does also go through recipes. There's recipes in here. There's, how to make your own wool, how to weave a basket, how to make pressed flowers. You name it, if it is a skill that you might use for being self-sufficient on a backyard farm, this is it. Awesome book. I picked this book up. It's Square Foot Gardening. If you don't know, you pretty much make a bed, you portion off square feet, and you plant something different in each of the square foot beds. This is very much beginner friendly. Very beginner friendly. He goes through and has photos of all the different kinds of soils you might have, all the different types of pebbles or rocks you might use in your garden. Actually, how to build nets with PVC pipe and netting. These pictures are very, very helpful. They are not in here to be pretty. I mean, even in the back, he's got some great planting charts. So this is by Mel Bartholomew, very well known in the gardening arena. But I definitely, this is a really, really good book too, especially if you want to do raised bed gardening. This is how I started my garden in the back of my house. I did 2 square foot beds. But then I moved on, and so now I have 8 beds, but they're not square foot beds. But it's a great, great book. So there you have it. Those are my top big books. And then I have this sweet little book. It's called Home Sweet Homegrown, How to Grow, Make, Store Food No Matter Where You Live. And what I like about this is its size. It is so small. It's written by Robin Jasko, illustrated by Jennifer Biggs. I got this for Mother's Day one year, and it's just easy. Like, here's the beans. It tells you when to start it, the stats, what you should avoid planting it near, preparation, spacing, harvest. It has every basic vegetable or fruit that you might plant is in this handy dandy pocket-sized book. And then in the back, there's all kinds of neat little recipes. For example, roasted veggies, grilled asparagus, how to make crunchy green bean pickles, how to make a roasted beet salad. I really need to take this out and use it. I need to use the recipes. I don't like to cook, so I probably should look at these recipes more. But I use this book a lot when I am thinking about planting, especially something new. So there you have it. All of my books that I would recommend for people who love nature, love gardening, want to make their backyard either into a homestead or just grow a garden, or really just be a keeper of the earth and build yourself some kind of beautiful spaces to go to in your backyard. Here are the books that I recommend. Hopefully you can check them out, and I will see you on my next video. Happy reading.